Hello guys, this is Sanjay. How are you today? Today we are going to learn accounting equation again, and this time we will look at the format and all the categories of the assets and other categories, and we will see how these affect on assets, liabilities, and capital, which is accounting equation as a whole. So I already made the two videos. You can check those videos so that you can get an idea what is accounting equation and how it works. So this is particular assets. We have three type of assets here: cash, bank, and stock, right? And income is considered as assets as well, but I put under other categories so that we can manage liability and capital as well. So income, expenses, outstanding expenses, and liabilities. And there is a accounting equation, means assets, liabilities, and capital. So I'll just generalize the things and give you an idea, like a general idea how it works and what categories affect what type of asset or liability or capital. Like a asset is affected by the cash, bank, stock mostly, right? And you know that cash is affected by income. When the income will come, cash will be added, and when you paid the expenses, the expense will be deducted from the cash. So definitely that will affect on cash, and cash effect on asset, and we will see how it works. Liability is affected by definitely the liability itself, uh, like we can see here, bank loan. So bank loan is a liability, so liability will be added. And outstanding expenses, those are the expenses still has to pay, that become the liability. And liability paid, when you pay the liability, definitely the liability will reduce. And there is a capital is always uh, make up by the starting investment, like business started with cash. So this is capital, and bank is a capital too. When you combine all together, it become the whole amount of capital. So capital is affected by the starting investment account, and by expenses, by income, and outstanding expenses as well. And we will look at by the transactions how it works, like, right? And okay, we can start now. So business started with cash 20,000 and bank 50,000. So in cash we have 20,000, right? And bank we have 50,000. We don't have a stock yet, income, expense, and nothing. So that become our asset. We can make the formula so that it can be easy for us when we go further. So cash plus bank plus stock. Okay, just take the three things. Even asset is affected by the income and expenses as well, but I told you already, when the income and expenses come, it will affect the cash. So just we take the cash and leave this column so that we can adjust these things in the liability and capital side. Okay, so what we have, 70,000, and the same capital I told you, when anybody do the investment, starting investment, that become a capital. We have no liability yet, right? Then, so I already put the formula here, so not a problem. So I'll put the formula for the capital later. Bank loan, how much? 15,000. So when you take the bank loan, the cash comes, right, in the business, then it will be added to the cash. So how much, right? Okay, so we don't have any bank transaction, no stock transaction, no income, and nothing. And I'll just put this down, and you will get, no, you need to make a formula here too. So we add asset plus cash plus bank plus stock. That's 85,000, right? As I told you, this is a bank loan. So bank loan is a liability because you have to pay it back, right? So you just take 15,000 liability, and capital is not affected by, because there is no any expenses or income or any outstanding expenses, so just keep the capital same. So you can see here accounting, oh sorry, I put the accounting equation, spelling is wrong here. Accounting equation, right? This is a key error, right? Okay, so 70,000 plus 15,000 is equal to 85,000. As you know, the asset is equal to liability and capital all the time. Okay, then they did the purchases for 10,000 because they have already 70,000 cash, and definitely they need to buy something, some stock for selling, because this is a you can say that sale and purchase business. So 10,000. So when the 10,000 will go, it will deduct from the cash definitely. So the cash out, but what you get back? The stock. You buy stock for the 10,000, the 10,000 cash will be reduced and stock will be added here. So we'll see how it works. So definitely there is no effect because assets make up by the cash and the stock. So minus here plus here, no difference, right? Okay, 15,000 and there is a no difference. So still our accounting equation is the same. Then we say that rent paid 1500. So when you paid the rent, definitely how much money will be deducted? 1500 from the asset, right? Okay, and then there is a expensive too. So I'll put in the expenses side as well. So as I told you, the expenses will affect on what? On the cash. It's already affected cash here because it is minus, right? And it will affect on capital as well. And the liability doesn't affect by the expense, it's affected by only the outstanding expenses and liability paid, right? Okay, so we can see here our asset is already affected by the 1500. When you less 1500 from 85,000, it will become 83,500. Liability should be the same, definitely, right? Okay, here as I told you, our capital is affected by the income, expenses and outstanding expenses as well. So what I do, because when we have income, we add income, less expenses from the capital and less outstanding expenses for the capital too. So that will, right? So when you paid the rent, you paid the cash affect the asset, and definitely it is an expenses, it will affect the capital as well. So expenses will have two effect on assets and capital as well, but it doesn't affect on liability, right? So that means 68,500 plus 15,000, it becomes to 83,500, right? You can calculate yourself if you want. So you can say like 60 plus, okay, so I can calculate for you if you want. Sorry, 68,500 plus 50,000, 83,500, right? So that's correct, right? Okay, we will go further. Paid telephone bill 1,000, right? The same treatment, cash will be deducted and expenses you put into the expenses side too. So 1,000 will be deducted 82,500. Liability is not affected by any way. right? And this will be affected too. So 67,500. So if you total all these, it will become how much? 82,500, right? Okay, the next one, outstanding expenses. So there is outstanding expenses. You know, outstanding expenses means you haven't paid the expenses yet. Definitely, if you haven't paid that, it is not affected the cash in any way, right? So cash is the same, bank is the same, stock is the same, no point. Expensive because it's not yet paid, right? But outstanding expense is a liability. So I'll put here 500. So this is not affected, right? But the liability will be affected. So I'll make the formula now. Because I'm making the formula as per uh, the transaction. I don't want to put the formula from the start and after that it will be a trouble for you, right? So 15,000 minus what? No, minus, sorry, plus, oh, what I did, 15,000 plus outstanding expenses, because outstanding expenses is a liability, minus liability paid. When we paid the liability, we can see there up there, we have a bank loan for 15,000. When we pay that, the liability will be reduced, right? So, right, okay, even I told you already, outstanding expense effect on what? Capital as well, right? So that capital, it doesn't matter either expensive or outstanding expenses, it will be deducted from the capital, because in future you have to pay that amount. So asset is the same and the liability added and the capital deducted, definitely it balance here. So when you plus liability plus capital, it becomes the asset 82,500. I hope it's making sense to you, and if you have any question, definitely you will put in the comment. I'll explain a little bit more. Salary outstanding, that's the same thing. How much? 1,000, right? I already put the formulas, so not a problem. Asset doesn't affect. Liability definitely 16,500, and it will be deducted from the capital too, definitely, right? So 16,000 plus 66,000, it comes up, you know, that 82,500. So our accounting equation is still looks all good. Okay, so loan repaid. What I told you before, when you pay the loan, definitely the cash will go. So minus, when the cash come is plus, and when the cash go it minus. It's simple as it is. Okay, so liability paid, I put the liability as well. You know, I put the formula already. In the liability, when you pay the liability will be deducted. So no effect on capital, because this is not income and expensive or anything. So when you paid 5,000 from 82,000, it will come to 77,500. Liability you already paid, definitely it will reduce as here as well. Capital is not affected at all. Yeah, so if you calculate 66 plus 11, how much? 77 plus 500, definitely looks all good. Cash sale, when you do the cash sale, you get 2,000, right? Cash, and your stock will be detected, right? So minus stock, right? So no effect on anything. So these two always affect on the capital, always affect on asset. So definitely the asset will be the same, plus, because there is a minus, there is a plus, right? That's the same. This should be the same as well. Looks good to me. This should be the same as well. This is really simple. Okay, so I think we have the last one now. Like paid electricity bill, right? So electricity bill paid 2,000, right? And this is expenses too. I think, where is the expenses? That's the expenses, right? Okay, we'll see. That comes to 75,500, and liability is not affected by any way, and this should be affected by, because this is expensive, the 64 something, right? So how much it is? 64, and if you plus 64 plus 11, so that comes to 75,500 definitely. So we can say here that's totally balanced, and it looks good to me, I think. Yeah, yeah, it looks good to me. So I just want to recap if you want it. Right, you know all the accounting equation: asset, liability, and capital. These are the category: cash, bank, stock, type of assets, and there's a lot of type of assets like fixed asset, current asset, right, tangible, intangible, fictitious, uh, right. So these are the assets, like, but we are not talking about all the assets here, but I just take the category according to really a simple journal entries, right? Right, this is investment always affected the capital and the assets as well. Bank loan always affected the liability, and you get the amount that's that will be added to cash. Purchases, you get the stock, and the cash will be minus. Rent paid is a expenses, definitely the cash will be deducted, and the expenses will be deducted from the capital too, because I told you already, expenses and outstanding expenses will be deducted from the capital because it affect the capital, right? Yeah, you can say that outstanding expenses, we still uh, hasn't paid how you consider in the capital, but I told you it doesn't matter, it's a future or the current one, the capital is always be affected because we're gonna pay it definitely in the future, right? We are not running away from these expenses, we have to pay that. Okay, telephone bill is expensive. Outstanding, I already told you, outstanding expenses doesn't affect cash because it's outstanding. It will be added to the liability and will be deducted from the capital. Bank loan repaid, when you pay the loan, definitely the cash will be deducted and the liability will be reduced. Right, cash sale, yeah, stock will be deducted because stock has gone and the cash will be added. Electricity bill is another expenses, not a problem. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely you have learned basics of accounting equation. And if you have any question, please let me know, and maybe the next time we will look at the income received in advance or prepaid expenses as well, and this is another category of expenses like outstanding expenses. So definitely I'll make the another video, and if you like it, please like, subscribe, and share as well. I need your support. Thank you very much.